let's bring in Mosab. He's the son of founding member of Hamas and author of Son of Hamas. He grew up in that environment, went to prison, realized that he wanted a different life, and is now here to give us insight on Hamas and the organization the Israelis hope to take apart. First off, Mosab, great to see you. I'm wondering, did you know the guy that we just took out, that Israel just took out?
I didn't know him personally.
How significant is this?
Not a high profile. I think he's important because he was part of the operation on October 7th. But we are looking for the big names, Mohammed al-Daif, Yahya al-Sinwar, and the other Hamas top leaders. When we start, and I think soon we are going to start hearing about their names down. Well, and I hope just like dominoes.
Right. Well, this guy was important because in addition to one of the directors of the October 7th attack, he also was one of the guys in charge of their, what they refer to as their aerial forces. He helped develop drones and paragliders, which, of course, famously were used on October the 7th, Mosab.
Look, I commend all the warriors right now on the ground. They are brave. They are fighting on our behalf, on my behalf, on your behalf, on behalf of the free world. They are courageous, and we give them all the support that they need. This is good progress, okay? We have paused, but we have lots of work to do.
Indeed.
And now we need a very strong siege. We need a siege. Then we need somehow to put pressure on the Egyptian government so they can open the border for the Gazans to just depart. I don't care if they depart for good. They can go for good. We don't need Gaza there. You know, Gaza is a big refugee camp that was supposed to be demolished 70 years ago. But they kept at the hope that were given by the United Nations and the Arab countries. And this is how we have this crisis right now. At this moment, we have war. Civilians are there, wrong place. Instead of the United Nations blaming everybody and saying a humanitarian crisis, they should allow the civilians evacuate. Egypt has to open the borders. The United States must put pressure, apply tremendous pressure on the Egyptian government to open the freaking border. You know, the United States give Egypt in military aid close to $1.3 billion from the taxpayer money every year. They can put some pressure. Israel cannot put pressure on Egypt, but I think the United States can. Let all the Palestinians who are in the Gaza Strip evacuate immediately so Israel can do the job correctly and eradicate this barbaric organization.
Mosab, I hear the frustration in your voice, and your point is duly noted because, as you know, Hamas is using all the civilians that is there as human shields. But I want to go back into the organization because I also heard your frustration there. What you're saying is that this guy will be easily replaced. Most of the leaders don't live on the Gaza Strip. They're not even there. So can you explain to our audience what the organization structure is of Hamas?
Okay, this guy belongs to the military wing. But Israel is not only going against the military wing on the Gaza front. Trust me, as we speak right now, we have a dozen of intelligence services around the globe, including Arab intelligence services, that they are on the tail of Hamas leaders abroad, especially the political wing. And sooner or later, they are going to be brought to justice. They're not going to get away with this. But the Gaza front is the most significant front right now because there are civilians involved. There are hostages involved. And we have to move slowly. So every day you are going to hear about those guys. We will eradicate them. I'm sure Israel is determined and it has the power, but we cannot move in very fast. We have to apply unbreachable siege, and for long enough to deplete Hamas, to deprive them, to starve them. We have to cut every mean of life from them. Then after that, we can move faster. But as of now, we cannot risk more lives, more Israeli soldiers' lives by pushing them towards suicidal group. So we have to move slowly.
So Mosab, You're for the slow maneuver, not the D-Day type invasion, but a slow maneuver forward.
Absolutely.
They're about 2 miles in, and yesterday they freed one hostage. I can imagine she's going to talk. The other hostages that they release are talking. Do you think that the best way to get the hostages out is to move the IDF in?
Look, the best way to do is to work silently and collect intelligence. This is what we need. We need information. The moment we have information, it doesn't matter. Even if they are 20 miles away, there will be a special force going behind the enemy lines. It doesn't matter where they are. And we will get to the hostages. But most importantly, we need intelligence. It's good that we are on the ground because this gets us closer to target. And I hope that within the next days or weeks, we will have good news. And I'm sure Israel doing everything they can to
Mosab,
bring those hostages back to their families.
You mentioned the top commanders. You named them. Where are they?
Well, Sinwar most likely is under Al-Shifa Hospital, some 30 meters deep in the sand, which sand is very resilient to bombing. It's not easy to get to him, and in order to kill him, probably we will have to destroy the entire hospital. But he's not going to hide forever. You know, we're coming after him. Armies, angels of heavens and earth are after those terrorists and barbaric people.
Right.
We are going to eradicate them. There is no escape.
Right.
There is no escape. It doesn't matter. Even if he escapes Gaza, we are going after him. Everybody knows.
Mossab, the IDF says in the last day they struck 300 targets, including anti-tank missile and rocket launch posts, which were below shafts, they say, as well as military compounds inside underground tunnels belonging to the Hamas terrorist organization. So the IDF is down in the tunnels, and apparently it sounds like the militants are responding. They're shooting anti-tank missiles and machine gun fire at the IDF. The question for you regarding this is, knowing what you do about Hamas, are they, when you're down in the tunnels, are those tunnels booby-trapped? Are people wearing belt bombs like we saw with Al-Qaeda and ISIS? I mean, what do IDF soldiers have to worry about when they're down in that hole?
Well, first of all, they have different types of tunnels. The IDF talking about most likely offensive tunnels. Those are the closer tunnels to the Israeli border. This type of tunnels Hamas use for, or they constructed with the goal to deploy their members behind the enemy line in case of Israel invasion. So now this is the job of the IDF, and that's why they have to move slowly, because we need to discover all these tunnels. And I think, without revealing so much, the IDF has technology. They have technology to detect and be able to at least cut the snake in small parts. If they are not able to cut the head, we can cut the snake in small parts, which will not allow Hamas to escape those tunnels. So we can trap them in those tunnels. Not having to say much about this. So now the target is the offensive tunnels. Later on is going to be a lot more complicated, which is the defensive tunnels. Those are the ones under the populated areas. Hence, I say the United States must put pressure on Egypt to open the border. We need all the civilians out so we can have the freedom to eradicate them.
But Mosab, is it just getting the civilians out? I mean, knowing what you know about the organization, knowing what you know about the tunnel structure, knowing that there's going to be a lot of HR hostage rescues, can Israel do it without the United States help on the ground as well?
Of course not. Of course not. And the United States, whether we like it or not, we are part of this war.
Yeah.
Because if we don't show power, we are going to be next. In fact, this Hamas, Iran, Russia is aiming at the United States through Israel. So we all realize this problem. In fact, I would like to see more presence of the United States, more military presence. I'm not talking about military action. There is a big difference between having the presence that we are here, we are ready, and if you dare to launch a missile from Iran or from Hezbollah, we are going to hit you, and we're going to hit you very hard. So this just waving the stick. I'm not saying to take part. Could prevent us from a regional war,
Right.
could prevent us from World War III.
Yeah, but the problem is we're not hitting back at all. We've been attacked 23 times in Iraq and in Syria. Is that a problem in the world that you left?
Sorry, I did not understand the question.
We've been hit in our bases in Iraq and in Syria multiple times, 23 times. We've only answered back once. Is that a problem in the land that you left?
Well, for the time being, let's stay in the high waters. Let's stay in the sea. I'm not saying ground bases and moving on the ground. Let's stay on the high seas, show them the American might.
Yep, that would be great. Mosab Hassan Yousef, thanks so much for joining us today. We'll call on you again. Appreciate it.